This is Your Other Brothers podcast.
Living in the borderland. I don't feel like a boy, I don't feel like a man. Help me, holy Jesus, won't you show me how to live? I got monsters at my table, I got Bibles bent like shields. Help me, holy Lord, I see the light of heaven's porch, but so many of us are born here outside your chain link fence. Yeah, living in the borderland.
Welcome, friends, to Your Other Brothers podcast. We are a community navigating faith, sexuality, and masculinity together. My name is Tom, director of Your Other Brothers, and I'm so glad that you are here. Joining me across the state from the city of Oaks in Raleigh, North Carolina, it's our other brother, Ryan. What's up, Ryan?
Hello, Happy New Year. Is this the first recording since
It
New Year
is.
for us?
Happy New Year.
Okay.
It's
Happy
the
New
latest
Year,
I've
everyone.
ever said it. Happy New Year, Ryan. And Happy New Year to the city of Queens, Charlotte. It's our other brother, Matt. What's up, Matt?
Hi, everyone.
What's up, Matt? Rocking the camo because the camo's in.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, you're on top of what's in. We're going to count on you as the years progress to tell us what's in. What's in, what's out.
Queer Eye is the last season. I think you're getting to this. Queer Eye is over, so I have no tan friends. It's going out of my life, and so that's it. No more. I'm completely disconnected.
Whoa. Yes, we got some Queer Eye in this episode for any Queer Eye fans out there. You may not like what you're going to hear from me anyway, but we'll get there when we get there. This is such a fun episode, y'all, because it's hard to believe after 100-something of these podcasts now, we have never done a mailbag episode. I was listening to another podcast that I enjoy, and they turned it over to the listeners. They just let the listeners submit questions, and it was such a great episode of feedback. And I was like, why have I never done that? Why have we never done that for the YOBcast? And we always have feedback, so I guess it's maybe evaded my imagination because we are constantly gathering feedback for the prompts that we have for all of these wonderful topics. But we've never had an episode solely devoted to just prompts, like just write in and ask us anything, literally anything. And that's what our YOBBERS did. I created an anonymous Google form because I really wanted them to feel powerful. Like they could ask me truly anything without the judgment of me, because I don't know who submitted anything, or I think more apt, the judgment of their fellow brothers, because we are a judgy bunch.
I might have a little judgment for a few of these questions.
I mean, we can still judge. We just don't know who. Yeah. So they were able to submit their questions without any name attached. So yes, there might still be judgment, but we just don't know who wrote what. I have some guesses on a few of these, but it remains to be seen. It remains to be seen what it is. So that's today's episode. We're going to just answer a bunch of YOBBER questions for about an hour or so, and we'll see where that takes us. I'm so excited.
Let's do it.
It'll be such a fun time together, y'all. Before we get to some God stuff and gay stuff and guy stuff in this episode, though, I wanted to circle back to our last episode, which was on church healing. And we had some fun stories that were included in that episode, including the Sexiest Man of the Year and the concept of gay sheep sweaters, gay sheep whose wool turns into sweaters. You guys remember that? It's been a few months. Do you guys remember those stories? Yeah. So what I love, our community is so involved, so interactive, not only before episodes happen, but then afterward as well. And so I wanted to catch up on some of those stories because we have some roving reporters out there, some investigators who will do the work that I, quite frankly, do not care to do or have the time to do. I probably have the time, but I just don't care to do it. So we were trying to figure out on the show, like, who chooses the sexiest man alive? Because we were theorizing, or Matt, I remember you specifically were theorizing that it's just a bunch of straight women basically picking like John Krasinski and Paul Rudd. It's like, they are the sexiest man on the planet? Really?
Mm-hmm.
And so our dear Erin, our other sister Erin, she actually looked into this. So shout out to Erin. She said this. She did a quick scan of the editorial team who chooses people's sexiest man alive. And they take personality activism, and kindness into consideration when choosing. So yes, the pick is centered around the straight female gaze, which could explain a lot of the choices. However, a lot of classic heartthrobs have also been chosen in the past. Because kindness is sexy, right? I mean, it is. I'm not going to say it's not.
Right.
I mean, if it were people's adorablest man alive, then this fits really well. But
yes.
I will have to say that the straight female editorial team is selecting on their demographic.
Sexy is a very strong word to choose. Yeah. Like I don't know. Most adorable, sweetest guy you want to settle down with for 50 years. Yeah. I think those are all.
Okay. And this is not to invalidate the women who see something, the women to whom all these qualities are sexy. That's a valid response to all those qualities. However, it's not my response.
Right. Activism. How sexy is activism?
Activism. Sexy is in the eye of the beholder, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. So thank you, Aaron, for doing some research on the People magazine process. I feel in the know. I'm excited to see who they choose next year. We'll see which direction they go. They chose a gay man this year, so we'll see which direction they go next year. And then as to the matter of gay sheep sweaters, I was so confused because I was like, there's this article, for those that missed it, like there's somewhere in Australia, I think, they're like harvesting the wool of these poor sheep who are only attracted to the male sheep and turning them into sweaters. So it's like art, it's like an art piece, but it's like, solidarity with the LGBT sheep community. But I was so confused because there's sheep, and then there's rams, and then there's ewes, and like which ones are men and which ones are women? Like how does gender identity work in the sheep kingdom? And so our dear brother Daniel, who's been on the show, shout out to Daniel, he came back with this research and this feedback, which I'm sure probably so many people know. I had a farmer, one of our other community members who grew up on a farm. He also was like, you should have called me. So shout out to him, because he wanted the phone a friend while we were discussing this topic on the episode. But Daniel said this: ram is to male sheep as bull is to male bovine. However, you also have steers, which no longer are able to reproduce, but born sexed male bovine, but are not bulls. So really, whether all male sheep are rams is more a question about gender ideology than a question of sheep categorization. Also buying my gay sheep sweater now. So I don't entirely understand that, but I get that there's different classifications of cow as he was describing. So it is what it is. Do you guys get it?
Yeah,
do you understand?
I think I get it. I will say livestock, the world of livestock gender is surprisingly complex. And
yes, surprising. Isn't it though? Like, who would have known?
Do we need a podcast?
Anyone who can wade confidently into these questions, I think, should be able to handle some of the newer concepts of gender and multiple pronouns these days.
Right. Like my heart goes out to all the asexual sheep out there who are just like standing alone in the pasture, like just wanting some space, They
don't want the rams or the ewes.
Yeah.
They just want solitude.
Yeah, just a little place and to be left alone. And do they want to be sheared all the time and marketed in this way? It is complex, surprisingly complex, Ryan. Yeah.
We need a gay sheep podcast, I guess, is what they need a podcast too. They need a community. So that was just such a random hit. I just love that story so much. It's such a hit in our community. I'm sure we'll be making gay sheep sweater jokes. My hope is that we will anyway for years to come. So great times. But that was last episode's GGG. Now we got to shift to a brand new round of GGG. So first up with God stuff, which the subtitle of this is always what Christians are mad about now. You guys seem like you love Kirk Cameron.
Yeah.
You guys big Kirk Cameron fans?
I'm 50% sure I know who that is.
Oh, really? Matt, you know who Kirk Cameron is, right? Like, you're
Is he still
100%.
here? I thought we were left behind. LOL.
LOL. Oh my gosh.
And then he's gone, but he's still here.
So Kirk Cameron, yeah, super Christian. I don't want to make fun of his faith because yes, he is a brother in Christ. He was, I just know him as DJ Tanner's brother, like the actress that played DJ Tanner on Full House. So her older brother, who was also an actor, yes, Candace Cameron, he was on Growing Pains, a sitcom from the 80s, 90s. And so then he grew up to be, like, I think he came to faith later in life, and then he like started producing all this Christian media content. He starred in the original Left Behind movie before Nicolas Cage did the reboot. So there was an original one and that he was a part of. So he's really well known for that. And, you know, just Christians, God bless them. Like they will find something to criticize about everything. I brought up this story because it actually ties into a Yobber question that was brought up in this episode. So we might talk about this later in the episode too. But from the Christian Post, this article was this: I believe in hell. Quote, Kirk Cameron clarifies his position on eternal damnation, announces plans for a roundtable discussion. And so this caught my eye. In a video posted to social media on Wednesday, Cameron addressed the swirling controversy sparked by his December 3rd podcast episode with his son, James, where he voiced support for the theological position of conditional immortality, also known as annihilationism. And so he talks about his child, like asking his daddy, like, so if someone doesn't know Jesus, they're just going to go to hell and be tormented forever and ever and ever. And so he was trying to create this like thoughtful dialogue about, like, you know, what's clear in scripture, what's not clear in scripture, and just like asking questions. And I don't know, this is what dispirits me, if that's the right word, disheartens me of like Christianity. It's like nothing can be gray. Nothing can be in the middle of just like, I don't know. It has to be all the way this way or all the way that way. And I felt kind of bad for Kirk Cameron, actually. If one can feel bad for Kirk Cameron, I felt bad for him because like all these like super hardcore, hell has to be real people, like they came out in full force against him. And so now I guess he's trying to create a thoughtful dialogue and conversation around it, basically. But yeah, no, I mean, someone in our this is a spoiler alert, but someone in our mailbag was asking about hell today. So I just thought this would set up that conversation potentially later in the episode. So we'll stay tuned. I'm not going to reveal my beliefs on hell just yet. I'm not sure if Ryan or Matt will either, but we will find out. So stay tuned.
It's interesting that he brought it up.
I think so.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. You know how whenever you want to know if somebody is gay, what do? You go to Wikipedia and look at the personal life section.
Of course.
And
yes.
if they are, it's going to be there. If there's a Christian version of Wikipedia, it should have like a section that just tells you like, if they're an annihilationist, like it'll be there.
Yes. We're going to flesh out annihilationism. And this is just the annihilationism episode, I think, maybe. So I have some thoughts about that. But moving on. So that's some God stuff for now. Let's go to gay stuff. So gay stuff, you guys, I don't know, Matt, you already mentioned Queer Eye. I don't know how hip you are with the Queer Eye controversy. Are you guys aware what's been going on with this new season, this new premiere? Are you aware of the scuttlebutt?
I saw some. My phone tried to get me in on it, and I ignored it. I just didn't want to know. I kind of wanted to just watch the last 5 episodes in peace, but now I have. I watched it and I enjoyed it, and so I'm ready for the drama.
So I'm not going to ruin your experience. Okay.
No.
Good for you, though. Good for you for choosing peace versus the chaos that's about to ensue.
I think I saw this headline, but I like any headline, I did not click on it.
Okay. I will be the click. So just listen to me as you click on me. Here we go. So they're promoting the new season. It's the last season of Queer Eye. They've had a 10-season run. So it's a very successful show. It's won lots of awards, all the accolades. It's a big hit in our community by and large. I think a lot of guys in our community and women too now, I think they really enjoy this show. And I've enjoyed it for a season as well. but I'm starting to sour a little bit on this show and this group of people because they all appeared, well, almost all of them appeared on the Today Show and other press as they're like doing interviews to promote the show. Like 4 of the 5 queer guys, they appeared on the show. Karamo did not. Karamo did not appear on the show. And in one of the interviews, I think it was for the Today Show, he like sent in a video. It was so awkward. He sent in a video clip of like 30 seconds to like say hey, and that he wished he could be there, but that after speaking with his therapist, and I'm paraphrasing, after speaking with his therapist, he decided he was going to take care of himself and not appear on any of these press interviews, like none of them. Like he's not showing up, i.e. he didn't say with the other 4 people, but that's basically what it means. It's like he doesn't want to show up alongside these other 4 people. And so that sparked this like controversy. And you clip to the 4 people who were on the show and they're like all holding hands. Like it's kind of weird. Like they're all holding hands while they're like being interviewed and like they're answering questions about why is Karamo not here? What's going on? And they're just being very generic, supportive and saying that they support Karamo and you know, pursuing his mental health and not being there if that's the best decision for him. But like basically not answering the question, like what, i.e. what did you do? Like, what did you do to Karamo? And it's been revealed in like the days and a couple weeks, I think, since that there was a day when they were shooting that Karamo's mom came on set. And while Karamo was like stepped away from the rest of the cast, his mom was like, she had headphones on so she could hear like the hot mics of what the other participants were saying. So like Anthony and Tan and Jonathan, essentially, like we don't know what they said yet, but they apparently were just like being very critical of Karamo about some of his choices in life or something about what he's doing right now. And like since then, Karamo, this is like so middle school, Karamo has unfollowed them on social media and they've unfollowed him on social media. Those 3, it's not the new guy. So anyway, the other part of this that connects to me was like a couple seasons ago, they had their original 5, but then Bobby, who was the design guy, walked away. And it seemed like he felt miffed, like he thought the show was over and he thought the show was ended. And so he walked away. It was like after 7 seasons or something. And then he like learns like, oh wait, everyone else re-upped, but I was like not included in that. And so there was some like weird energy about Bobby's exit. And then they brought in this new guy, Jeremiah, into the show. So I gave that season when Jeremiah was replacing Bobby, I gave it a shot. I like watched 3 or 4 episodes, I think. And I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this new guy. I don't like how Bobby was like forced out or not included in the discussion to come back. And I just don't like it. I don't like it. And then this whole thing happens with Karamo, which has soured me even more. I've always resonated with Karamo, who like goes to therapy and like does these little like interesting exercises with the people that are on the show. So I've always had a soft spot for Karamo. And now Karamo is being like lambasted and cast out of the group. And so I wanted to go to you guys and get your take. If you care about this, if you don't care about this, if I'm more invested than I should be. But like I actually remember a discussion on Yob years ago that was like, should we be celebrating Queer Eye? Like they all seem so happy and like nothing's wrong. It's like the perfect friend group and like yay for being gay and yay for affirming like an affirming theology. Like are we not like being critical enough of this group of people who get to, you know, live this perfect existence on television and become famous? And now it's like there's part of me that feels validated in my humanity and my humility. I'm like, of course something's wrong. Of course there's like conflict and like, you know, and strife and all this stuff. But also like, I don't want them to, I want them to be a big happy family. I want them to be the people that I thought they were. And I guess I feel let down. I feel let down that they're not the 5 best friends that I thought they were, or the 6 best friends, or 4.5 best friends, or however many there are now. So I don't know. I feel conflicted, and I just have no desire. I have no desire to watch this show anymore. I don't know. The joy has been sucked away from me. I don't have joy for Queer Eye anymore. What do you guys think? Matt, you're invested in this show. What are your thoughts?
I really have always liked it, and have always known that there's a lot behind, you just know people, right? There's a lot behind the scenes. And if you see something that looks too good to be true, then it, probably is. So they have struggles, relational struggles, just like we would, just like our friend groups would. But yeah, I love them. I love them all. But one thing I will say is I've thought through the years, I wish they were a little bit more vulnerable, especially the early seasons. They would seem to present to the people they were helping, like, hey, we see that you really don't have it together, but we do. And that's really off-putting for me. It's very kind of Enneagram 3-ish, like unhealthy Enneagram 3 activity, to be like, let me tell you how you can have it all together like I do. And really growth for someone with my personality is like, if you want to impress people, then share your strengths. But if you want to impact people, then share your weaknesses. And we all have them. So you might as well just give. So I've wanted to hear them say, if I met them and sat around the table, I would be fangirling a little bit. And then I would want to say, hey, I think maybe you should say, you know what you're struggling with? I have, and I do. Like, not just I did and I conquered, but I still do. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That reminds me like my favorite episode that they ever did. It's like, and I think it ranks pretty highly with people, revolves around Bobby. Like, it was an episode where they like did a church and they like helped a church lady, and like he has all this church trauma, and like that, like he was very open and vulnerable about that. And like by the end, like he reaches like a new like stage of his own personal growth. And so yeah, I mean, I think that's something that you put the nail on the head there of like on the one hand, like that's like, it makes the show what it is, right? 5 experts help someone who's struggling, like when you make it black and white. But like, that's always been my struggle with this show, I think, is like, but they're not perfect. Like, are they experts at everything? Like those 5, like they have everything figured out. Like, I don't know. I needed more vulnerability, and now I'm starting to see it in a really ugly way with the media that's happening right now. But I don't know. I've had a up and down relationship, I think, with this show through the years.
You want to know my headcanon about why Bobby Burke left?
Ooh, go for it.
It's because every episode that, like all of the older episodes where he's in, like Antony's like, I'm going to teach you how to make hummus. And Karamo's like, I'm going to look in your eyes and make you say, I believe in myself out loud. And Javian's like, I'm going to give you a haircut. And Bobby Burke comes and rebuilds their house.
Yes.
And if that was my career for like 5 seasons, I would leave too.
Mm-hmm. No, there was such an imbalance. He did so much more than everyone else combined. That's for sure.
I love that, Ryan. It is so funny saying, "Oh, we're going to have a week. We better hurry because I've got to give you a haircut. I have to give you one haircut." And then he's like left to just figure out. He's left with a single wide full of roaches, and he has to figure out how to,
And he's in the episode for like 12 seconds. They just show him lifting things, or every once in a while he would like go with them to IKEA or something and walk around and ask, what do you like? But it's like, I always just felt bad for Bobby. Like, he deserved so much more. I think Bobby also had the best glow up. I don't know if you've seen like present day Bobby. Like, he's got a nice full beard now. He just looks like he looks quite masculine. I like looking at Bobby these days. Matt is Googling him, checking him out. Yeah, Bobby Burke. He's looking good these days.
I'm going to type in glow up. Bobby Burke.
Yeah, Bobby Burke, glow up. Yeah, I think so. I think he's glowed up quite well from season 1. I'm looking at Matt's face journey.
Yeah.
He's glowed up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I know we have a lot of Queer Eye stans out there, so I'm sorry if you now hate me and you're unsubscribing from the show. I'm so sorry. Maybe I'll give the show a shot again one day. And then for some guy stuff, this was totally just out of my imagination. So I was at the pharmacy today and standing in line, big long line, and I turned to my right, and there's bags upon bags, mountains even, of those sweetheart candies, those awful tasting. I don't know if you guys like those little chalky hearts with little words and phrases on them. And I thought I would ask ChatGPT if I was going to give a sweetheart to my bro, to my best male friends, what would the heart say? And so you want to hear what ChatGPT said?
Please.
Let's go.
I haven't shared this list with anybody. There's so many. ChatGPT, so considerate, broke it up into categories. So there's the warm and affirming category. There's the playful, lighthearted category. There's the loyalty, solidarity category. There's emotionally open but still candy safe category. I'm not sure what's going there.
Candy safe.
Emotionally open but still candy safe. Let's start there. Let's go there.
I hate it when my candy overshares, so I appreciate that.
Yes. There's one that says, love you, comma, man. Love you, man. Emotionally open, but still candy safe.
That heart's blue.
Yes. There's thanks for being you. You're enough. Glad you're here.
Aw.
Seen and valued. So those are all emotionally open, but still candy safe. That's important. Let's go back up to warm and affirming. Of course, love you, bro. Love you, comma, bro. Always got you. Always got you. That's a good one. Brother for life. Brother for life. I could see like the little number 4. You've only got so much space. Some of these I was like, I don't know if you got enough real estate on this little heart to to say brother for life. Maybe bro for life. Maybe that would fit better. Possibly. With you always. That's so sweet. Proud of you. So on the playful, lighthearted, big bro energy. Ride or die. Best dude. Best dude. That's kind of cool. I like best dude. Very succinct. My guy. My guy. Certified good dude. There's no way that fits on a candy heart. Certified good dude. That's too many characters. Come on, ChatGPT. And then I can't believe they put this one. You guys, I cannot believe they put this one. No homo.
Oh, I love that.
Sure, that was ChatGPT, Tom. I can't believe they would put this
on this one.
Gosh.
But on this one had an asterisk next to it. It said no homo, and then ChatGPT was thoughtful to say, use with care, depends on audience.
Wow.
So it knows that may not land well with certain folks. And then real ones stay. Real ones stay. And everyone out there who's still listening to this show after nearly a decade now, you are the real ones. Thank you for staying.
Real ones stay.
I have a shoebox. I have a shoebox on the top of my closet with cards from my whole life. And one of them is from my best girlfriend in college, who made a big card for me, gluing these little hearts on a Valentine. It was back before I was out to her, and maybe I was husband material maybe at that time. But it's really sweet, and I kept it. So every time I see these, it makes me think she's still in my life. She's still my best girlfriend. And so these always remind me of her.
Real ones stay. There you go. So there you go. Go send a chalky heart to the bros in your life. Let's go to some announcements before we dive into the mailbag. You know, we haven't done this, y'all, in literal years, multiple years now of not having YOBcasts and waiting for new ones to come in. But we have a brand new Apple Podcast rating and review to read. I used to read these all the time, and we have not done this in a long time. So I got to shout out, this is so funny, HKY Guy 2, which I'm assuming is Hockey Guy 2. I wonder if he's seen Heated Rivalry. I'm curious. What great timing.
I'm assuming it's one of the actors who's listening. Yeah,
of course.
The second one, it's Hockey Guy 2. So Hockey Guy 2 gave our show 5 stars. Not just our show. I need to clarify now because we're all on one podcast network. So this is the podcast network of Your Other Family, which has Your Other Brothers episodes, Your Other Sisters episodes, and Your Other Family episodes as well. But Hockey Guy 2 said this: enjoyable and funny. Just listened to YOBcast 108. It is good to have you back. I like the topics, but also the lighthearted banter between the guys, which just tells me all I need to know, because we get some feedback sometimes where people don't really appreciate the lighthearted banter. They just want to get straight to the meat and potatoes of what are we discussing today, and let's get to that point right away. And so I always appreciate people who appreciate the lighthearted banter. And this is just a reminder, if you listen to podcasts on, most apps do this now. I'm not sure, some apps may not, but we're chaptered. So if you don't like the lighthearted banter and you just want to skip ahead to the main topic, you can click that on your podcast app and you can, but you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out on becoming friends with us. I mean, that's sad. I hope you stick around. You got to learn about gay sheep.
The good ones, the true, what is it? The good ones stay.
Real ones.
Sorry.
Real ones stay. HK guy 2, you're eating good today.
Yes. And I wanted to put this out because, it's hard for me I wear so many hats in this chair. And so it's hard for me to keep track of everything. For years, I basically just said to people on this show, go to Apple Podcasts. If you love our show, please rate and review it. It really does help stir the algorithm. We love stirring the algorithm. We want the algorithm / Holy Spirit to do whatever and get this show into the ears and eyes and souls and hearts of people who would benefit from this show. And so I've just been so Apple fixated and prejudiced, basically discriminating against the other podcasts out there. And I really want to encourage people moving forward. Moving forward, if Apple Podcasts is not your jam, if you listen on Spotify, for instance, you can also rate our show on Spotify. Some podcast outlets don't have a review feature, so I don't think Spotify has reviews, but you can rate our show. And when I last checked, we had over 28 ratings on Spotify. So what I've started doing now is I'm including not only the Apple Podcast link, but the Spotify link to your other family podcast network. So if you listen on Spotify and you have never rated our show, please take a second to do that. And I just want honest ratings. Like, I could be disingenuous and say, give us 5 stars or else, or don't. But no, if you think we're worth 4 stars, if you think we're worth 2 stars, whatever you think we're worth, just rate it. And that's awesome. It stirs the algorithm. It puts our show out there. People are rating it. And then it recommends it to people who listen to similar things. We just did Spotify Wrapped like a month or 2 ago to kind of see what people are listening to. So that's always fun to just connect the dots between all the people listening our show. So if you listen on Spotify, if you listen on any other app, if there's a capacity for you to rate or even review our podcast network, please do. And so this applies to your Other Brothers episodes. If you're someone into Your Other Sisters and you've never rated this podcast network for Your Other Sisters episodes that we've done, you can also rate it and review it for that too. So please do. I think it would be cool to see some new ratings and reviews come in now that we're back in the flow of doing the YOBcast again, and hopefully getting the YOScast and YOFcast and all the other casts that we may do online. Just appreciate the show of support. Really helps us get the word out as we build up this network of shows. And then before we get to our mailbag episode, I got to shout out our sponsor. What's our sponsor? Oh yeah, mailboxes. You guys, mailboxes are so cool, aren't they? They are literal houses of mail that I've had this, like, whenever I'm struggling to be grateful in life, I just always have this thought. I was like, wow, I live in a country, God bless America. I live in a country where someone is paid to drive to my house and put mail in a little box that's for me. I didn't have to go get it. I didn't have to pay for it. It comes to me, and then I can open it, and then it comes into my home. And like, what a gift. What a gift mailboxes are. And the U.S. Postal Service, God bless our U.S. postal workers out there, the heroes, the real heroes. So shout out to mailboxes.
Amen.
I have a thing too. If I ever own a house, which, in this economy, who knows? But if I ever own a house, I'm determined to have an epic mailbox. Like, I want like an epic, colorful, handcrafted, sculpted something where people drive by and they have to slow down. You guys ever have that experience where you're like, whoa, that is an awesome mailbox?
I'm seeing it in my head, and basically I'm looking at the room behind you, and I'm just imposing that on
like a big bird's nest or something.
The big bird's nest, the mannequin, the bust of David, the
All
sparrows,
of that.
the
Could I
chalkboard.
take some
everything.
combination of all these items and throw them out to the street and have a little box that maybe Eunuch is holding the box or holding a nest or something in his hands. I don't know. I could see that.
And you know what? It would be pretty normal for Asheville.
Yeah,
Oh
there'd
my
be
gosh.
nothing.
Nobody
Nothing new.
would slow down to look at that in Asheville at all.
Too true. So shout out to mailboxes. If you have a cool mailbox, tell me about it. Write me an email. I want to know. Show me pictures. I want to see your mailbox. All right. Well, the theme of the episode today is it's a mailbag episode. So I put out a prompt to our community to just ask us either individual questions or general broad questions that maybe go a little bit deeper than the individual questions. So we got, mostly individual questions, and we'll rattle through a bunch of those. And then I think at the end, we'll try to answer some of the deeper dive questions that some of y'all had. But the first one, and Ryan, Matt, I didn't really verbalize this to you, but if you have any questions for your two co-hosts on the show today, either spontaneously or as we're reading, something comes to mind, you just want to ask away, like this is a safe place. We are all here answering questions. We don't have to answer any questions we don't want to. So I will also say that. So no one here is being forced to answer questions against their will, but we'll read the episodes or read the questions in this episode and see what happens. Are you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. So Ryan, the people want to know, what is your hair care routine? Let's just start there. Do you want to share your hair care routine?
I'm so glad you asked. Let's see here. So I have realized that my hair does better if I don't wash it every day. I used to wash it every day because it felt like it was just always getting like greasy, oily so fast. But it turns out, and I think this is most people's experience, if not, then at least it's mine. I think my scalp, if I wash my hair every day, it gets dried out and it sort of overproduces oil as to kind of compensate. And so stopping that, now I wash it on Wednesday mornings and Saturday mornings.
Wow.
Twice a week.
And twice a week, and other days I just rinse it in hot water for a while and kind of like scrub it and try to get any excess oils or dust or debris or birds' nests or whatever is in
debris
there, out of there. Yeah, the debris.
After you climb out of the quarry, you got to get some of that debris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I use like nice shampoo, but I actually don't use conditioner because I don't really believe in conditioner very much.
Who does?
I only use conditioner when I accidentally buy it because I think it's shampoo, which kind of happens a lot. So maybe about 50% of the time I'm using conditioner.
Yeah. At what point do you realize it? Like when you're like, oh dang it, oh shucks, I did it again. I bought conditioner. Is that
when I get in the shower and I squeeze it out and I was like, this looks like conditioner, and then I look at the bottle, because
conditioner is a little gloppier, isn't it? Shampoo's a little smoother. There's like a slightly different
conditioner
texture.
is usually like kind of an opaque, is opaque and like you said, gloppier, and then shampoo is usually like
oilier,
smoother. Yeah. I blow dry my hair every time I get out of the shower though, and I feel like blow drying, it gets it to like sort of remember where it's supposed to be. And then on days where I wash it, it's like I said, pretty dry, and it just is very wispy and wants to go every direction at once. So there's a Trader Joe's product, not a sponsor of the show, but I will tell you it's from Trader Joe's, called Trader Joe's. I think it's called like Body Balm or something, but basically it's sort of like a big tin of like basically a very dense version of like chapstick. And I just use a little bit of that through my hair to like give it some direction, some shine.
Dapper Dan.
But then every day I also use there's a product called Tiggy, the brand is Tiggy Bedhead, and then the product is called Matte Separate or matte separator or something, but it's a high hold, low gloss, like styling clay. And that is like the final step. So that is my hair care routine. And I get a haircut once every 3 weeks too.
Do you really? 3 weeks?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah. 2 weeks. I don't have the budget for every other week. But if I wait 4 weeks, that's just too long.
You're looking like a mess.
Yeah.
This is why he has a camera that follows him around. When he moves, it moves. If you take that much time on hair care, then
you deserve
a
a camera.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely.
Well, this camera, it like zooms automatically too. Well, I can't get it to do it right now, but it always wants to cut off my hair. So
I've noticed that. What's going on there?
And I can't figure out, there's no settings to control it. So yeah.
That's so interesting. So first of all, thank you for being so detailed. You're like one of those late night hosts, because they get haircuts like every other week. Because I've never even thought about that. Like, Ryan, I've pretty much seen you with the same length of hair. I can't think of your hair ever being shorter than I've seen it or longer than I've seen it. And I've known you for almost a decade now. And I never even think about that, oh yeah, you would have to go. Because me, I'm on the flip side where I'm like, I have barber anxiety. Like, I just hate it. I hate sitting in that chair. I feel trapped, and they're going to talk to me about the weather and about like, what do I do for a living? And I just, I don't want to have a conversation with you. And so I try to delay the haircut as long as I possibly can, especially during winter. I basically, the last few winters, I've been like, I just grow out my hair in the winter. It's extra insulation during the cold here in Asheville. So I'm like, yes, I don't have to go to a barber for like 5 months. I couldn't imagine going 3 weeks. Whew.
Yeah. I understand the anxiety about small talk
worst.
with a stranger for sure.
but so Wednesdays, my question, I don't know, Matt, if you have any follow-up. My only follow-up, Ryan, was like, will you make exceptions to your Wednesday, Saturday rhythm if you like get super sweaty on like a Monday? Like if you, I don't know, do something fitness related, or it's just a really hot day, or you go to the beach or something, or you're just abnormally oily, dirty. There's more debris than there usually is.
Yeah, debris. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Not usually exceptions for just sweat, because I feel like that just rinses out pretty easily. But yeah, if I go to like a bonfire or a campfire, I will wash my hair right after that, because I don't like to smell like smoke. And I don't like my pillow to smell like smoke either.
It lingers.
Or going to the beach and getting like sunscreen in my hair or sand.
Okay.
Yeah. I will wash my hair after that for sure.
I love the barber. I just don't go because I just have my head is shaped really weird, and I don't have great hair. So I can't. I would go to the barber every week if I could. I follow barbers on YouTube, on Instagram. One of the things I was watching today, there's some kind of like these trend going around, is where the barber is trimming somebody's mustache. A dude's mustache. I don't know if you've seen this. And the guy has his eyes closed and he opens them, and it's inevitably these beautiful, like hazel or blue eyes. And the barber's like, "Yo, bro, stop looking at me like that. It's real, no homo kind of thing." And he says, "Oh, I'm sorry." And he closes his eyes. But the guy goes back to trimming, and the guy just gently opens his eyes again. And they're just these beautiful eyes. And the barber just can't take it. And I feel so dumb for watching them, but Instagram knows that I love them, and I can't stop watching these bar videos.
The algorithm just keeps going, keeps pulling you in. We got this guy. We got him. We'll pray for your safe passage and release. All right. Thank you, Brian. Thanks for sharing. The people always want to know about your hair. Matt, the people want to know, how many hats do you own? You're wearing one now.
When I read this, I thought, is this when Ryan gets asked about his hair and I get asked about hats? Why is nobody asking about my hair?
We're reducing you to these two things, yeah.
Because
we never see your hair, Matt. Why would we have... my question is, show us your hair.
As if I just got back from like a whole cabin weekend with Ryan, where he saw me at my worst in every state with plenty of hair.
And yet, what did Matt wear in the hot tub?
I did,
hat.
Didn't I? Oh my gosh! Yeah, I do like hats.
I mean, they look good on you, to be fair.
And
I like
they
that.
square. I feel more confident. They square off my face and that sort of thing. So I really like them. I have about 20 to 25 hats, and all different kinds of hats. And the hat Ryan's talking about is a trapper hat. It's that winter hat that has the flops that comes down over your ears and ties under your chin.
Ooh.
And I was just looking for another one. I needed like a gray synthetic fur one. So I'm searching for one of those online now. Were you going to say something, Brian?
Oh, I want everyone to picture Matt wearing that hat in the hot tub.
Massive trapper hat.
Yeah. I kind of get it, because you got the heat from underneath and then you got the heat from above. You're like sandwiched. You got heat sandwiching you on both sides, both poles.
And I learned a new term, though, this week. It's probably an old term. You guys may know it already, but I did not know. You know how you can be catfished? In other words, somebody can misrepresent themselves with pictures, right? Online, you're catfished. The word is hatfished. In other words, somebody is constantly wearing hats to where you don't know the real state of their hair. Like how much hair do they have? Are they bald? And so on a dating app, like on dating apps or whatever, so the idea is you're swiping through all these pictures, and in every picture, there's some sort of hat. And you're thinking, I don't want to be superficial, but I want to know what your hair situation is. I feel like I'm being hatfished. Is that a new word for you?
I'd never heard of that, but it's very similar to during the COVID days and people wore masks. And there was at least 1 or 2 times where I met somebody for the first time, like at my church or something, and they were wearing a mask. And then when mask season was over and that came off, it's like, oh, wow, that's what you look like. You know, there was this big reveal of not knowing, like, do they have a mustache? Do they have a goatee? Do they have great teeth? Not so great teeth? Like, you know, all of that was a mystery.
Should they put the mask back on?
Mask fished. Yeah. Yeah. How do you choose? My question was, how do you choose the hat that you choose? Like, are you trying to match it with the rest of your wardrobe, or is it just literally what are you feeling that day? How do you select the hat of the day?
My mom loves to tell a story. When I was about 3 or 4 years old, she picked out clothes and put them on the bed for me. And I looked at them and shook my head no. And I said, I'll pick out my own clothes from now on. Thank you. And I have ever since. So matching is very important for me. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I love it. Thank you for the behind the scenes scoop too, Ryan, with the hot tub. I could totally see Matthew that way. No shame though. Never change. Right, never change, Matt. Yeah, please do. I would love to see it. People asked me a couple of questions. Tom, do you feel pride in your name, Tom? And my answer is yes, I do. My question for y'all is, do you ever wish your name could be something different? Because I will say with an asterisk, I like the name Tom. Tom is one of those names that you think should be more common, but it isn't. Like, I haven't met many Toms throughout my life, like a few here and there. We've got a couple Thomases or Tommies in Your Other Brothers, but like, by and large, I haven't met many. So it's kind of one of those things where, you know, it's a biblical name. There's a Thomas in the Bible. It feels like a common name, but it's not. So I kind of like that as a 4. Like, it's not so common that it's still unique enough. But I have always loved my middle name. My middle name's Mark. And so there's part of me that's if I was going to go by another name, if I didn't have pride in Tom or Thomas, that I would go by Mark. And so my follow-up for each of you was like, have you always loved being Ryan? Have you always loved being Matt? Have you ever wanted to be some other name out there?
I think that me and Ryan both have really nice middle names, and that we should probably go by them.
I love each of your middle names. Yeah.
Mine's Wesley and Conrad.
Mm-hmm. Right, which I understand now Conrad is a cool, sexy name thanks to the show The Summer I Turned Pretty. Ooh. I believe there's someone who's attractive on that show whose name is Conrad. So maybe I should start going by that. I did go through a season where I didn't really like Ryan, and it had to do with the fact that the name Ryan means little king, and that just made me feel... It conjured an image of like kind of a spoiled brat, you know, and I didn't really like the diminutive in there, but it's fine. I like it.
Like, I can just picture you wearing a little crown on your perfectly sculpted hair, like sitting on a little children's chair, like a high chair or something. That's the image.
demanding candies.
I think of it as not little, but the Lil, Lil King, and that's how I think of you, my little king.
Yeah, you're my little king.
Thanks.
You're my little king.
Is that's the candy heart Matt's
Little
giving
king.
me today?
Yes.
Little king.
Oh my gosh, we're making new hearts. Little king. ChatGPT, I hope you're listening. We're taking notes. Little king. Very nice. Thank you for that. Someone else wanted to know, Tom, when are you actually coming to Europe? And I just know I'm pretty confident who sent this one in, because I have been, probably to my detriment, telling our European yobbers that I'm coming. I'm coming soon. I'm coming to visit. I have not been to the UK in particular since 2008, when I studied abroad when I was still in college. So it's been over a decade and a half now, getting close to 2 decades since I've set foot in the United Kingdom. And we have so many yobbers now, from London to Scotland, everywhere in between. And I'm just like, I'm due. I know I'm due. I've been due for years now to make a visit over there. And I regret putting it out there a few years ago that I'm coming soon, because I have yet to make that trip. So I cannot definitively state. I wish I could. I wish I could announce on this episode that, look, I have my plane ticket. Here it is. I'm going. But I don't have that plane ticket just yet. But it is my intent. It is my sincere intent to visit soon. And can I put a number on soon? I cannot. So it's probably an unsatisfactory answer, but I want to come as soon as I possibly can. So if the price is right, if I can find a good deal, good ticket, like I'm always looking out for good deals on tickets. So it might happen soon. Who knows? I'm eager to get over there, because we have an awesome brotherhood over there across the pond.
Sure.
And then someone else wanted to know this. Tom, do you resonate with the term? And then I'm going to spell it first. So they said, do you resonate with this term? AEGOSEXUAL. AEGOSEXUAL. And so it's pronounced lots of different ways. I'm going to start out pronouncing it agosexual. Agosexual. We'll start with that. But I had never heard that term. I was like, I'm pretty hip with the times, and I know a lot of these terms, but I haven't heard that one. So then I looked it up, and it's basically a micro label on the asexual spectrum. And it describes individuals who experience a disconnect between themselves and the subject of their sexual arousal. While they may enjoy sexual content, masturbate, or have sexual fantasies, they typically feel little to no sexual attraction and do not desire real-life sexual relationships or participation in sex. And when I saw that, I was like, yes, I think that does resonate to my experience on the asexual spectrum. Ryan, you have your hand raised. I see Ryan has his hand raised on the Zoom call. I'm curious about this.
Yes, because I have a question.
Ask your question.
So does that mean, I'm confused by the wording. Does that mean were it not for that disconnect they feel, they would not be asexual? Like they feel the sexual arousal, but then they feel this disconnect. And so then is that basically saying this micro label is about the inevitable or insurmountable disconnect they feel between them and other people?
Yeah, so I definitely resonate with this label, and I'll try to explain it the best I can, because as I started piecing together, and I've talked about it on the podcast a few times, I did a podcast with Aaron about being on the asexual spectrum. There was a term I used, androsexuality, which is this attraction to masculinity, and talking about being asexual. And I've talked about it in therapy for a few years now, trying to figure it out and try to piece it together, because I've never wanted to have sex with another man or a woman, certainly, but not even a man. I've never wanted to have sex with a man in my whole life. Honest to God, I've never wanted that. And so, but on the flip side of that, I'm not, I still get aroused. I get aroused all the time. So it's it's not that I want to have sex, but if I see, not to name specific shows or movies out there, but if I see 2 attractive men who are having an encounter, that may be arousing to me, but I'm not participating.
On a hockey rink.
Potentially. potentially in some hockey universe or something that this may or may not be happening. I don't know. But that there's so many examples of shows, movies, and just like straight up porn. Like I've watched porn to the point where it starts to get a little too gratuitous and then I just turn off and I no longer am interested. It's more of the foreplay and like the excitement, the build up. Like that to me is more attractive than the actual sexual act. So even then there's a disconnect where I might be interested in watching or I might feel aroused for that much of the journey, but then once they start landing the plane, like I'm out. I don't enjoy. I literally don't. I just get annoyed, disgusted, and I don't want to participate anymore. And so that's been really confusing because like that hasn't been most people's experience that I've connected with. There's actually a decent minority in our community that I think resonates with what I just said, but that's been really confusing to be like, oh, that's not everybody though. Like, I don't think that's most people. I think that's a minority of our community in particular, but even the world at large. So I do resonate with this because I've never wanted to have sex, but I still feel sexually aroused. So I'm not like completely, asexuality is a spectrum. And so I'm not completely on one end. I'm not completely on the other. I'm somewhere in the middle. Like it resonates with me for sure. But I loved all the different pronunciations for agosexual too, because there's I guess not a clear way to pronounce it, like ego, and then like it's trying to combine ego, like so it's like a without the prefix a is without, and then ego, so it's without ego. So a ego, so it's pronounced like a ego sometimes. When I asked ChatGPT, it was like some people call it egosexual, like as a funny nod, a playful nod to the waffle brand. Egosexual.
You're only attracted to, only aroused by waffles.
Oh my gosh,
waffles.
Eggo waffles. I have such love Eggo waffles. Going back to childhood, there's something about the Eggo waffle. Maybe it's just ingrained in me that I was born to be Eggo.
Yeah. Those preservatives, and they're good.
Yeah. So that's in a nutshell my sexuality. It's confusing. I'm still trying to figure it out because it doesn't line up with a lot of people's experience. But the cool thing about it is that it does line up with a few. And so I appreciate those who have reached out to me as I've shared that over the years, some combination of that through the years, to like feel less alone. Like it's really encouraging to know that I'm not the only one that has that disconnect that's described in this term. So thanks to the Yobber, whoever you are, for introducing this term to me. I'm surprised I have not heard this one. I have never heard that term, I don't think. So hooray, a new term to play with. For everybody, this question is this: what is the most delightfully awkward response you've received to coming out to someone? Delightfully awkward. Matt, I feel like you've got at least one or two of those.
I have an awkward situation. Some beautiful friends of mine, back in 2021, I took them out on a date, a married couple. So me and a married couple go on a date to a nice restaurant. And I just thought that would be a good idea. And I came out to them about like at the end of the meal, and I was reading to them, and we all got a little bit of emotional. I guess I didn't see that coming. And so we all just started crying at the table, and the poor waitress kept coming to the table. And the
more water.
And then, yes. And the three of us are just in tears at the table. And it was so awkward for her because she felt like I don't want to be intrusive, but at the same time, like it's my job.
Right.
Like I have to do this. Right. And so looking back, I thought this was a bad idea.
Sometimes though, you have to read the room. It's like, that's one of my pet peeves. It's like, can you read the room and just be like, someone will come over and be like, can I help you with anything? You guys need anything? You need anything? It's like, we are good. We are totally fine. All of our glasses are full. We are good. We're clearly having a moment. Like,
give me a minute, please.
She was trying to figure out what was going on. She was like, if I go back often enough, I'm going to overhear. I'm going to be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
I know. I look back and think that was bad on my part. I'll never forget my buddy. He held it together until finally he told me, basically, he's like, I just wish you could have told us earlier so that we could have been there to help you through all the. And then he started breaking down right as she brought the check. But it's a awkward, fond memory.
Oh, thank you for sharing that.
I think to me, the most awkward response in a funny way is when people say, oh, I never would have guessed. And I'm never sure what to say to that. Like,
That's so funny.
Do I say thank you?
That's so funny. I want you to keep sharing because like mine is the complete opposite of that, which was like, I always knew. So it was the complete opposite.
Okay, that's awkward.
Yeah, tell me you're awkward.
But yeah, I never know if they say I never would have guessed. Like, do I say, well, oh, thank you? Do I say sorry?
I know. I'm very straight passing.
I've resolved like if I ever get that, I'm kind of out of my coming out days.
Right.
Like I'm just kind of out. Whatever. I don't know. If you missed the news, sorry. I'm not. You know. But I'm resolved. If I ever get that again, my response is going to be, "Gotcha."
May as well be
playful. Yeah, no, I've had it happen. I want to say once. I don't think it's happened more than once, but I definitely remember one time someone said, "Tom, I don't know how to explain it, but I just have always known. I've always known." And there's just like a weirdness to that, where it's like, "Thank you for being intuitive." But then like, why didn't you say anything? Or like, did I want them to say anything if I wasn't ready to come? Like, so it's just this weird tension. I don't know how to process like that response that I've always known. Like, it makes me feel insecure, questionable. Like, I guess I'm glad they didn't say anything, but I don't know. Like, what do I do with that?
It's awkward. That's the reason why you're bringing it up. That is an awkward response.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, I think to anyone out there, my advice, Ryan, Matt, you can back me up or not, but like if someone tells you that, I don't think you should respond either of those answers. Like I've always known, or I would have never guessed. I think there's probably another way. There's a third way.
Yeah. Thank you for telling me.
Just thank you for telling me. I think that'll suffice.
Thank you for time.
I'm honored that you would share.
Yeah, honored. Honored's a good word.
Now hug me, please.
Hold me. Yeah.
Yes. Do you want a 5-minute hug or a 7-minute hug?
Yeah. Perfect.
Thank you for that. It was a good question. I don't know if there was any delight in that. The question was delightfully awkward. I don't know if I've had delightfully awkward, just awkward, but oh well. So fun. Let's go to this one. I love this. Korean spa or Korean barbecue?
Great question.
We've talked about Korean spas on the blog. We've never really talked about it on a podcast. So I am kind of curious.
Is it mutually exclusive? Like we have to pick one? Because usually you get both.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
There's usually a restaurant at the Korean spa and you get Korean food at the Korean restaurant.
This answers the follow-up question, which is, have you been to one? Which it sounds like that's an affirmative from you.
Yes, I have been to a few.
Have you been, Matt?
Yeah, no, I've only been once, but Brian is the one who could tell it. He's been to multiple.
Okay, we're getting somewhere now.
Enneagram 9 here knows his way around a cruise ship and a spa.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the question was Korean spa or Korean barbecue. The follow-up was, have you guys ever been to a Korean spa? So I have not. I have not been to a Korean spa, but I have been to Korean barbecue multiple times. I actually went to a Korean barbecue with some YOBBERS a couple years ago, and it was so good. I've been once with some YOBBERS, once with other friends, maybe just twice in my life, I think. Because it's not a super common experience, but for those that don't know, they like bring you all the stuff and you like cook it yourself. So you're sitting at a table that has like a little stove in it and you like throw the meat on there and all the other things. And so it's interactive. If you like interactive meals, it's like the hibachi grill, but you're doing it yourself. So, so I kind of like it. It's cool. So my vote's Korean barbecue, but I've never been to a Korean spa, so I don't know.
Now that you mentioned the grill aspect, I will say I don't think I've been to a Korean spa that had the grills.
Okay.
But you could get like barbecued meat.
So it's already barbecued
there
for you. Okay.
Right. So maybe it is mutually exclusive.
It might
maybe
be.
You can't have both.
Yeah, that's what I think of, Tom, what you described. I'm thinking of Korean barbecue, and I've not done one. I generally steer away from restaurants that require me to prepare my own food.
You're going there.
Well, if you look helpless enough, usually the server comes and does it for you.
Good to know.
The one I went to is so funny. A couple years ago, I mean, this is probably everywhere now, but like a robot served us. Like we sat down and a little robot came with like a smiley face on the screen and it like brought a tray of the food and we took it and then it like went away.
Is this in Tokyo?
Is that a tipping situation?
No, this is down in Florida. Shout out to our Floridian yobbers. Yeah. So I remember that. It was very strange. We had a human server too. Like he did most of the work, but I do distinctly remember a robot coming by and bringing us things. So shout out to the robot.
Yeah.
So I don't have, I have to choose by choosing one or the other. I have to choose Korean barbecue because I've never been to the Korean spa. I'd like to think before I die, I will have that life experience, but there is anxiety in me, which maybe I'll talk about later on, but that's not for this episode, I don't think. But Matt and Ryan, then which one are you choosing? If you have to choose one. Well, I guess by default, Matt, you said you don't want to cook your own meals.
The spa, yeah, for sure.
And then you too, Ryan.
Yeah, I'll go with the spa as well.
Okay. There we go. Great question. Love that one. Would love to explore more about the Korean spa. Like I said, it's talked about on the blog. If you search Korean spa on our blog, there's at least 1 or 2 blogs that come up. And it's never been discussed on a podcast until now. So maybe this will be an episode. Maybe there'll be some more follow-up. TBD. Let's keep getting vulnerable. The yobbers want to know, what about your appearance are you most insecure about? And then the flip side, what about your appearance do you like the most? Anyone want to bravely enter the insecurity waters?
Sure, let's do it. I grew up overweight and kind of chubby for so much of my life. And so anywhere that looks sort of like fat on my body, I'm insecure about. Like kind of in the stomach area and anywhere really. Also, I feel like Matt was talking about having a weird shape of his head, and I do feel like my head's just sort of like round, and I don't like pictures of myself of my head that aren't like, front on. I don't like any other angle. What do I like most? That was part of the question.
Yes.
Yeah. I think there's aspects of my upper body that I do like. Like I like my shoulders, and I feel like I have nice broad shoulders, and I like that. And I feel like a few years ago I got into I developed my capacity to do pull-ups, and I've been doing a lot of pull-ups ever since. And I feel like that's given me a pretty well, not always well-defined back muscles, but good back muscles. And I feel like you can see my musculature on my back, and I like that.
Show us. No, just kidding.
Also, I by no virtue of my own, I have big calves. I inherited that from my dad. So that's nice. That's nice too.
Matt, I thought about your misshapen head when you were talking about that earlier. Is that your answer? Ryan just mentioned it.
Yeah, yes. And I would like to affirm everything that you said, Ryan. Everything that you said, Ryan, is so true. Your back, your chest too. You have a nice chest also. But my head is a weird shape. I have a really big jaw, and then my head kind of is really small. So I have to grow out my hair to compensate for how cone-headed, and it's, So probably the thing I'm most insecure about my hair. It's thinning. Like when it gets wet now, you can see a lot of scalp. It's just, it's just the circle of life. And my what I like, I think I like my Will Ferrell crooked teeth on the bottom. No, I like my lips.
Is that a Will Ferrell thing?
Will Ferrell's bottom teeth are terrible, just like mine. Mine are awful. We were poor, and so I only got braces on the top. Anyway, so I think I like.
But you love that.
No, I don't. I love my lips. I have my mother's lips. Is that weird to say?
Supple lips.
And so I'm grateful for them.
You do have a nice. Can you come closer? Come closer.
I can't now. I'm
Very
so shy.
You have a handsome face, Matt.
Oh, so shy. Thanks for sharing. No, as I think about this, it's more, I don't know how y'all feel about this duality of this question. It's more vulnerable for me to say what I like about myself. Like that to me is scarier to say.
Yeah. Cause I feel like someone's going to come along and be like, no, your back sucks.
I know.
Gosh.
Or they're going to be like, get over yourself. Like, yeah, you look awesome in this area. Like, get over it. Like, is it okay for us to affirm ourselves a little bit around here? So I feel the tension of like, I don't want to get prideful, but then also someone out there inevitably is going to be like, really? That's what you like the most about yourself? So yeah, that to me is scarier. I've always been insecure about my face. Like I grew up with acne and still have some acne scars all these years later. I have rosacea as well. So like if something gets embarrassing or I like eat something spicy, or sometimes if I drink a little too much wine, I just feel super red and I feel like I'm burning everywhere. And so I've always been insecure about my face, going all the way back to like 10 years, probably like 11 years old, like when pimples started coming and then never proceeded to go away. Like just keeps, I'm like, have I reached the point of life where they just aren't on my face anymore? Like, I don't know that I'll ever eclipse that. So my face has always been what I've been the most insecure about. And then, I resisted it for the longest time. People told me for years and years, similar to what you said, Ryan, about your legs. Like people are like, Tom, you have great legs. Tom, you have great legs. You have such great legs. And I was like, no, I don't. Stop. It was like, the more people mentioned it, I felt self-conscious. I've always had I always felt like my calves were too big. Like they're definitely bigger than I think most people's are. And I just was like, I don't like the attention. Stop calling attention to it. But I think when I look myself in the mirror now, top to bottom, like I felt like I was very like lopsided. Like I started to like my legs, and I've always been a runner, and I've always always loved walking and running, moving around, biking. So I feel like my legs just naturally developed in addition to the genetics, because I feel like my dad has good legs too. Shout out to my dad. But then as I hit the gym the last couple of years hard, especially, like I'm starting to see more definition in my upper body. Like, so I think what I'm like most proud of now is similar to Ryan. Like I used to not be able to do pull-ups at all. And now I'm like intentionally doing pull-ups and seeing my shoulders and back becoming more defined. And that to me is something that I'm proud of. Whether someone out there wants to nitpick and say, no, it's not that great. Like I'm very proud of my back and shoulders. So take that.
You do have great legs, and
Thank you.
Can I say that like I think that it's important, like for somebody to ask this question, it's important to acknowledge to own up to the things that you would like to change, and then to own up to the things that you are grateful for. One thing I love, to throw it back to Queer Eye, is I love how the guys on Queer Eye can hone in on someone's strengths, because we all have weaknesses. We all have things that need to be improved, but they hone in on somebody has really good legs or really good hips or beautiful eyes. Do you know what I mean? And I love how they hone and just, they choose colors or a waist or accent a waistline, or do something with the facial hair that accentuates the jawline. And I think that's something I love, is their eye for everyone's unique beauty. We all don't look like the front of a magazine, but we all have some God-given beautiful features that we can enhance if we put a little effort into it to remove the debris.
That's like in Ryan's hair. Yeah. That's a great point. Figuring out what's going on in your body and like how to accentuate that. So like with my legs, I resisted for the longest time. And then I was like, screw it. Like I'm getting the 5-inch shorts because like they show off my legs more, and they're more comfortable, especially during the hot summers. Like just like, why not? Why it's time to like get over like shorts that go down to my knees. Like those days are forever gone for me. I just have to leave them in the past, because I used to be so insecure about showing my legs. The irony though is like the more I'm hiding of it, it's like they don't look as good. It looks like disproportionate. So like when you're removing that extra couple inches of fabric, it just looks more proportionate, I think, mathematically. So like, I don't know. I just
absolutely
figuring out what works for you, whether you have a tan in your life or not.
JVN would say, do it, honey.
Thank you. All right. If you had a potion let me try this again. If you had a potion to magically make someone you know personally a gay, who would you give it to?
The messy, chaotic energy of this question.
A gay. I love a gay.
Yeah, like this is fully what I expect and appreciate about this community.
Amen.
As this is a great question. And also, I don't know if I can answer candidly in a public forum.
I know. It's like, who is straight in your life that you wish weren't? Tell us now. I don't know. What does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, most of the vast majority of the straight people I know are married, and so like, are you sending them into like a mixed orientation marriage?
Like, spiral.
Are you wrecking? Am I trying to wreck someone's home to get them to come after me? Is that what I'm doing?
Yeah. What is the motivation?
I kind of want to say my pastor, just because that would be hilarious.
That's a good answer. Yeah, because it's like, what is the deep dive of this? The existentiality of this question is like, why do I want them to be a gay? Why? I want them to like be closer to me. How close? How close is too close? Like, are we not close enough already as it is? So this
question, you could also take it to be, which bisexual would you like to erase their bisexuality?
To further the cause of bi erasure, how do we just eliminate the heterosexuality in you? Yeah. I don't have an answer. Don't have an answer for this question, but it was an interesting one, thought provoking.
Yeah, I love the question, but yeah, don't have an answer.
Thank you, dear Yobber, for putting that in there. All right, so I wanted to spend a few minutes. I mean, we have 5 deep questions that we probably don't have a lot of time to dive fully into, but let's kind of start on the more shallow end of the spectrum or work our way down. Which sports do you think are the most masculine to spectate and or participate in? Around when this episode's coming out, it's Super Bowl season. March Madness is around the corner. So a lot of football and basketball in the air right now. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think? Most masculine to either spectate or participate in?
I mean, as someone who grew up mostly in the South, I feel like football feels to me like the most masculine sport to spectate, and I guess also to participate in. Mm-hmm. I don't know, maybe could be. I feel like there's something in there with like wrestling. I don't know, like there's lots of masculinity in wrestling, but I'm not sure if it's straight masculinity.
How do you define?
I think we just like it for other reasons.
Because I've always, not always, but for a while, I've thought like, if I could live another life, would I have become a wrestler? Like if I had that option available to me, is that something I would have enjoyed? Physical touch, the aesthetics of it, but it is like really fierce and like physical. Mm-hmm. Like there's something masculine about that, and it's like unashamed. Like you're getting all up in another guy's business. It's like very physical, very intimate, very touchy, and there is like a masculine, and it's seeing them dressed in their little unitards, whatever those things are called, onesies. What are those things called?
Don't get me started.
Yeah, I mean, I can only talk about this so much when there's a microphone in front. No, but a way to talk about it is in another life, you would have been Jack Black from Nacho Libre. That's what. Sometimes when you're a grown man, you wear stretchy pants. Such a great movie.
Nice callback.
The most masculine sports ever, basketball and rugby, in my mind.
Oh, the rugby.
Yeah, like there's nothing more masculine when those guys come up behind their bros and grab them by their underpants and lift them up in the air. Have you seen these videos? Boy, I'm trapped in I'm trapped in a very specific Instagram algorithm that's full of blue-eyed men in barber chairs and rugby videos with lots of thighs. And I don't know how to change it. Like I'm stuck in that's what shows up. And that's what what do you want to not click on it?
Wow. I didn't think about rugby. I'm sure rugby, a lot of our international audience, this isn't like a typical American answer, but I'm sure a lot of our international audience would probably agree. We don't see much rugby here in the States unless you're on Matt's Instagram feed. So yeah, football culturally for me, but yeah, something about wrestling. I've always wondered, like, I was always the pale, wiry kid. So like that never, and it wasn't offered at my school when I went there, but it's offered now. Like I noticed like my old high school offers wrestling. I was like, that's interesting. I wonder if I was in a different place physically, emotionally, is that something I would have ever pursued? Because there's something about it to grapple with another man. Like there's something about that that's very intriguing to me, let's say. Good answers, good questions. Another Yobber asked, which book, or maybe books, I'll add books, have formed masculinity the most? Do you guys have any books that come to mind? Matt, you've been to almost every book club.
Yeah, I tried. Ryan, do you guys have anything? I tried. I looked all over my shelves. I racked my brain. I can't come up with anything.
I think I mean I guess there's a few ways to answer this question. There's what book has formed my sense of masculinity the most? The question could be, what book has formed American culture's view of masculinity the most? The book could be the question could be, what has formed our community's understanding of masculinity the most? And
It's Wild at Heart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think for better or for worse, I think Wild at Heart has really shaped, whether we know it or not, and I think in ways that we aren't fully even aware of, has really shaped our understanding, or at least my background. The kind of churches and Christian community I grew up in was very the idea of what does it mean to be a man and what do men need spiritually was very formed by that book.
The things that did come to mind, I'll say quickly, were, of course, the Bible. You know, that's like the Sunday school answer, right? Like,
Good answer.
Right. I mean, that's kind of the best answer. It's better than all of your answers, you know. But really, I grew up in a Baptist church, and one thing they do well is they teach you the scriptures, and there may be some interpretations that I don't share anymore, but I know the narrative of the Bible. I know so much about the men of the Bible, their strengths and weaknesses, and so that probably shaped really what a man was. And then I'm not going to go into the details, but I remember being like in middle school and falling in love with O. Henry's short stories. You familiar with these? Like,
ooh, yeah.
The two of my favorites, of course, The Gift of the Magi, very popular, and then also The Last Leaf. You familiar with The Last Leaf?
No.
Yes. I read a novella from somebody who wrote it was like based off of that, like When the Last Leaf Falls, I think was the name of it. Yeah.
And it reminded me so much of that story, the men in my life. They just have this tough exterior, this rough exterior, but there was so much self-sacrifice. Their love was demonstrated, the men in my life, my grandfathers and my father, their love was demonstrated through acts of service and sacrifice. And I think those stories and those examples in my life really shaped me, like kind of how a man, can live and love.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah. My boring answer, Wild at Heart, I think that's the one that has the most sticking power through the years. And so it's probably if you're trying to condense it into a neat answer of Christianity in America over the last 30 something years, then probably Wild at Heart. But I really loved, there's a guy named Brant Hansen who I really enjoy. He's a Christian podcast host, DJ. He's on the autism spectrum. He talks about having Asperger's. And so he's a very atypical type of man. And he's got a quirky sense of humor. He's an Enneagram 5. He's very intellectual. And he wrote a book called The Men We Need. And I really loved his take on masculinity as more of an intellectual type. His thing is all about keepers of the garden. Like, we were created to be keepers of the garden. And how do we protect people? How do we be creative in the work that we're doing? And so I really appreciated that book. I hope that has some sticking power. He wrote that a couple years ago. So we'll see. We'll see if the church buys in or not, or if Wild at Heart is just kind of easier to digest or or apply for more parts of the masculine population than most. This one's interesting. Has anyone in Yob ever considered vows of celibacy? Vows of celibacy. Have y'all heard whispers of this?
Yes.
Oh, tell me.
I mean, I do know at least one person comes to mind who has considered it. And I think kind of implicit in this question is like, have any of us considered it? And
right.
have not considered it seriously, not because I don't think that's necessarily where my life is going, but I guess I'm not sure it connects with me emotionally as a way to like live out my faith publicly, I guess. I'm not sure how to explain it better than that, but it just doesn't feel to me, for me, like a really meaningful like expression of my faith.
Mm-hmm.
Is this like a public, like I'm marrying myself?
Well, there's
kind of
two.
thing?
Yeah, there's like two ways of looking at it. I think it could be like very personal and private. Like maybe like you have your spiritual director, pastor, person that administers it for you or with you or something. Or maybe it's like super intimate, small, private, few people visit or witness it rather. Or is it like a full on? Like I remember having a conversation fairly recently with someone about like why do married people get to have these big parties and then everyone buys them these $100 gifts, and like if you're single and celibate, you just don't get that. You don't ever get the party, you don't get the celebration. And then just practically speaking, you don't get the new toaster and you don't get the new blender and you don't get the new things that everyone else gets to get. Like don't we deserve a blender too? A NutriBullet?
Yeah. Maybe I'm just saving it for when I need a new blender.
Yes. Time it well. Time it as well as you can. Yeah. So there's kind of like a silly angle to it, but it's also kind of like real life. Like, okay, other married people. I've had people in my life get married multiple times and they're getting multiple toasters and multiple. So it's like, there's like that element of it too. There's that. And then there's also just like the spiritual component of like, okay, this is what I'm committing to. It's part of my spiritual journey of being committing to celibacy and living that out. Does it need a ceremony? Does it need vows? Yeah. I've never considered that to answer the question.
I like Ryan's idea. So I am definitely on a path. I have chosen a path of upholding the Orthodox Christian sexual ethic. That's the plan for my life. But I am going to save this ceremony for when my current standing mixer breaks.
And then all of a sudden you'll get an invitation in the mail and you're like, from Matt, and you're like, I know what this is. Yeah. I know what this is. Yeah.
That dang cookie maker finally broke.
I guess another way to express what I was trying to say in my answer is for me personally, I don't have a sense of what I'm missing by not doing that, by not having like vows, either public or private. And that's not to say that I don't see how somebody else could find value there. But for me personally, I haven't really caught a vision for how my life would be really different with that, with those vows.
And my answer is like, because this was also part of that same conversation, really rich, deep conversation with this other yobber. But like the deeper dive is like, it's not really been modeled. Like I don't have a slew of people in my life that I either know personally or that I could like read about that have taken these vows that I could then be like, okay, that's for me. I want to also do that too. So there's part of me that likes the idea, like particularly from like a Protestant, like non-Orthodox laden denomination, like to do that and to like be a trailblazer, and be like, okay, I'm gonna do something that I think God is leading me to do. And if other people want to do it too, great, awesome. But to at least just do it if I feel like God's leading me to do it, and to, utilize my platform well in a sense. But I don't know. I've not reached a point yet where that's something that I would want to do. It just feels, when I think about like vows and a ceremony or a reception, like there's part of me that's like, oh yeah, I deserve that too. Like, do I deserve that? Yeah, of course I deserve to be celebrated. But is that how I want to do it? I don't know. Like maybe I just turn 40 next year and I just have a big party. It could throw in some celibacy vows in there or not. Like it's just a big party to celebrate me being alive for 4 decades somehow. Maybe that's what I do. I would love to talk to someone who's either seriously considering it or has done it. I think that would add to the conversation for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we might, sounds like we might need a special guest on that episode.
Guest. Mm-hmm. All right. And then let's close out this episod by talking about HE double hockey sticks. We referenced it earlier with good old
double oh my gosh, heated rivalry.
Yeah. It all comes back to heated rivalry. God bless you innocent people out there who are like, what's heated rivalry? Google. And you're just, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for what the path that we're leading you down. Someone asked, do you think side A people will go to hell? I appreciated the boldness of this question. Do you think side A, or affirming believers, affirming people who follow Jesus, who have an affirming theology, will they go to hell? The follow-up question to that, which was also asked, is hell even real? So there's multiple layers to this. Can they go to a place that doesn't exist? I'm curious. I don't know how much y'all are willing to say, or if you're willing to be bold and daring with this response, but I have some thoughts too.
I'll be bold and I'll say I don't think I don't think side A, side B correlates with like who is receiving the grace of Jesus on the cross for the gospel to, welcome them into eternity. I think my belief is that side B is correct, right? My belief is that God intended marriage to be between one man and one woman, and also I don't believe that that's a matter of like gospel integrity. Like I think you can be a Christian and land on a different answer with that, and by you can be a Christian, what I mean is you can believe that Jesus died on the cross and paid the price for your sins, and by casting your hope on him and receiving his grace into your life, you can be covered by his blood, and your sins can be your sins can be taken away and atoned for by his sacrifice, and thereby allowing you to spend eternity with God. So that's kind of like my high level answer. I would go even further to say like, one thing I think a lot about, and this is getting into like, I don't have a seminary degree. This is just me sitting in my room thinking about the Bible. Right. But like, King David, is not a shining example of one man, one woman marriage, right? Like he has many wives, right? And we don't sit there and like ask ourselves, like, is he going to be spending eternity with God?
Do you think he made it? Yeah,
right. And I think if you were to go back in time and confront David about his not honoring God's vision of marriage, I feel like he'd probably tell you, look, man, I'm trying to do the best with what I've got. My job here is to unify the kingdom. My job is to protect the kingdom from all these outside enemies. I had to marry this daughter of this chief in order to, make this political alliance. I had to marry this daughter of that neighboring kingdom, and so they won't attack us. And this is how my culture this is the option my culture, my time and place has given me in order to like just make it, to just live my life. And I do think that, a lot of side A people, that's where they're at, right? Like, look, man, I'm just trying to make it with the options that my culture has given me. And I want to have grace for that. That like, it's truly not like my place to say that, okay, well, that's not good enough, and all that being said, just reiterating what I said earlier, that, if I didn't believe side B was true and right and a beautiful way to live, then I would be side A. So that's my answer.
So well said. Thank you, brother. Thanks for going first on this little round. Yeah, I actually posted some videos recently about King David. There are some Christians out there that just don't like that. They don't like thinking about that. They're like, no. David asked for God's forgiveness for all of those marriages. I'm like, okay, can you show me? Can you show me where he specifically asked for forgiveness for having at least 4 marriages, maybe more. I don't know. His son Solomon,
Right.
way more, like way more.
Did he divorce all but one?
Yeah, like on his deathbed, he
like,
brought them all in. It was like, I now just pick Bathsheba, and all the rest of you are dead to me. Like, I don't know. I don't see that. I don't see that in scripture. So I think Christians have a real hard time with that story of like, how do you reconcile that? Because yeah, I'm pretty sure he made it. I'm pretty sure David's going to be there based on how scripture presents him, a man after God's own heart. Like what a testimony, what a way to describe somebody. And also, what do you do with that seemingly unrepentant sin for however long he lived? And what do you do with all those marriages? And so I think that's a great tie to gay marriage today. I mean, it's apples and oranges maybe through the generations, but like, I think that's another way to look at it. And I appreciate the grace. Like, I always say Holy Spirit will convict wherever Holy Spirit wants to convict. And like, if we feel like God's leading us to live this way, let's like do it. Let's do it to the best of our ability and live this way. Like
you said earlier in the episode, Tom, there's a struggle with living in the gray area. We want the black and white. We want the one extreme. Yeah. We want surety. Like there's a lack of security and a lack of surety, and we don't like that. And so I get it. I get why people are drawn to want an answer, but there's just a lot of mystery. There's a lot more mystery in being a follower of God than maybe sometimes. Listen, that's my whole experience. Like every day of my life, God doesn't tell me what he's doing or why he's doing it. I have no idea what's going on or why, prayers I'm praying aren't being answered. Why some people seem to get so many more years than they need, and other people get so few years than we don't know what God is doing. That's why we walk outside like Abraham did from his tent, and we look up at the stars every day, and we remember God's promise to us, and we just ask for the strength to trust him. And that sounds intense, right? But some days it's one day at a time, we're trusting him by faith and living in the mystery and trusting that he is great and he is good, and he'll in the end he does what's right.
Yeah. And getting into hell, I don't know what y'all's theology about hell is. I have warmed up, no pun intended, I've warmed up to the idea that hell might be different than what many of us were raised to believe hell is. Mm-hmm. And I have to give a shout out to good old Rob Bell. Rob Bell, who some Christians just wrote off when he wrote that book, Love Wins. He was like, they're like, was it John Piper who said, farewell, Rob Bell, or somebody said that to him. I remember reading that book. I was so ashamed to buy it because I was so intrigued by it. And I'd seen a few of his videos. I would literally go to the Barnes and Noble in my city and like go there once a week and just like read a chapter in the aisle and just like read it. And then I'd put it back. Wow. Like I couldn't check it out at the library, or I couldn't like buy it, I guess. I don't know what, something in me was like, I can't give him like $15 to buy the book, but I'll go to Barnes and Noble and I'll read a chapter a week or whatever. And he raised some really interesting points. Like, I don't know if anything's ironclad, but he gave me some things to consider. It's like, why is this not even an option? The concept of annihilationism, which was referenced before with the Kirk Cameron story, like that holds a lot of weight for me as I consider it. Like, okay, what if you just live and then you have an opportunity to live forever, but if you don't accept the gift of grace, if you don't accept the gift that Jesus is for you, that your flame just goes out and you're gone and you don't exist anymore, and it's not eternal torment. Like, could that be an option? Could that be a possibility? Versus like reading the Kirk Cameron thing, which is like all the criticism, all the feedback is like, no, the Bible is clear. It's clear. It's clear. And I just get all kinds of weird feelings when someone tells me the Bible's clear about something that none of us have experienced. Like, we have not crossed over. We don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. Like, I want to try to toe the line of like scripture is inerrant, but then also like there's a lot that's just not clear. And like, I don't think it's crystal clear. I will say that. And maybe people out there listening are like, no, Tom, you're going the wrong way. It is clear, but I don't know. I'm trying to thread the needle of justice and grace. And like, I could see that making sense. I don't know.
Yeah. I think there's a lot that is just not knowable based on what we're given in scripture. And I think there's a lot about hell that is in my opinion, just kind of unknowable. I think scripture is not fully clear. I was wrestling with this a few years back and reread the whole New Testament, making special note of all the references I reread the Gospels because Jesus is the one who talks about it the most in the Bible, actually. And making special notes of everything he says about hell or punishment or the afterlife. And pretty much everything Jesus, like every like analogy or metaphor Jesus uses, is an image of like a waste fire where you're throwing away things that you're rejecting, and then they're gone, which would be a weird metaphor to use, a weird analogy to use if
it was forever.
Right.
Perpetual.
Right. Yeah. And I will say there's like the one parable of the sheep and the goats that says that the ones he rejects go off to eternal punishment, I think is the English translation I read. But one way to read that is that death, ultimate death is eternal, that's that a punishment can be eternal, even if it doesn't last eternally in the sense that you're continually being punished. Right. So, I will say, I'm not saying I'm an annihilationist. I don't need Kirk Cameron's, the whatever police force has accosted him to come after me also. But I will say, I'm just, like you said, Tom, I'm a lot less, convinced that I know any answers about this, than perhaps I was 20 years ago.
The need for everyone to be on the same page about this is curious to me. Like when I'm standing in church and I'm reading the Apostles' Creed or the Nicene Creed of the foundation of our faith for, these written 2,000 years ago, I'm unconcerned as to whether or not the person in the pew with me has the same view of hell that I do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the need to be and I have the answers, I know.
Yes.
Is it not okay to say, I don't know?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people who know, quote unquote, that certain conspiracy theories are true. There's this need to be better than, to have this secret knowledge that other people don't have, and to be able to be to feel better about themselves. It's just so weird to me though. It's my pushback is always don't you want it to don't you want hell to not be real? Do you want hell to be real? Because that sounds really awful if it is. I'm going to trust God with that, ultimately. But it almost feels like people are glad that it exists or something. And I don't know. It's a weird posture to have. Certainly there are the exceptions, like the Hitlers and the certain figures throughout history that were just evil, for lack of a better term. It's there's a sense of justice there if there's this perpetual punishment, but by and large, for everyone else, do we want hell to exist? It always feels weird to me, this lack of empathy or this lack of I don't know, it just feels I'd rather be right than for people to have a merciful end. I don't know.
Or it's the more standoffish my belief is and my presentation of my belief, the more faithful or righteous I am, kind of.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing, y'all. I wasn't sure if you wanted to talk about it or how much of it you wanted to talk about, but there's our little hell segment. We've never talked about hell on this show either, I don't think. So what a great one to end on.
Korean spas and hell.
Really had the gamut, the gamut there. Yeah.
No. I'm going to stick with the spa.
Yeah.
Just be careful about how hot those waters get. Don't slip too far into the deep end. Thank you, Yobbers, once again for the eclectic assortment. Would you say that was an eclectic assortment of questions? That was
for sure
exactly delightful. What I was hoping for. So maybe we'll do another mailbag in the future, y'all. Thank you for all your feedback. If you have any feedback to the feedback, go over to yourotherbrothers.org and leave a comment on this YOBcast and tell us any or all of that. Yeah, Korean spas, hell, who you would make a gay in your life. Like, tell us all of that. And thank you, mailboxes, for sheltering this episode, housing the mail. We appreciate all that you do. Next time, y'all, we'll be back with a good old topic again. I have an idea of what it could be, but I'm going to talk with Ryan and Matt, and we'll see. So I don't want to promise anything. But I think something we talked about today could make its way into the running, or maybe it'll be something completely different. Who knows? But it's fun to break it up a little bit, do something different. I appreciate it. Hope y'all enjoyed it too. For all your other brothers out there, this is Tom.
This is Ryan.
This is Matt.
Reminding you that you are not alone. Even the sparrow finds a home. Bye, friends.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Your Other Brothers podcast, a production of Your Other Family. We'd love your feedback. Comment on this or any of our podcast episodes at yourotherbrothers.org. You can also call us to ask a question or share a brief story at 1-706-389-8009. If you enjoyed this or any of the shows on Your Other Family podcast network, consider rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app. You can also follow our family of socials on Facebook and Instagram at Your Other Fam, Your Other Brothers, and Your Other Sisters, and on YouTube at Your Other Fam. Finally, if you enjoy our content, consider giving to support our nonprofit ministry. Check out our YOF giving link in the episode description for membership in our YOB and YOS communities. Submit an inquiry at yourotherbrothers.org/membership or yourothersisters.org/membership. There's always room for one more sparrow in our nest. Until we journey next time, we're glad you're with us.
Your Other Family.